Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Wild Leap Brewing Company out of LaGrange, Georgia. So interesting fact, these guys just won the USA Today polls. It was like I think there's 10 breweries to choose from the best new breweries that opened within the last year, and I don't even know if it was actually the last year because I think some of them had opened maybe even a little before that, but it was basically just the 10 best like newer breweries, and they won, and it was based on people voting, so you know it could have just been more people in Georgia voted than anywhere else, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best because a lot of people outside of Georgia probably have never had them, but it's still a cool thing for them to say that they won. There was actually two breweries on there from North Carolina. One was Zillicoa, and one was Brewery Bavana, both which are very, very great breweries. So, I mean, if these guys beat them, that's saying something. There's also another one from Pittsburgh, Cinderlands, which I've done a couple of reviews for, too. But I've only done one review for these guys other than this one I'm about to do. It was like a creamsicle IPA, and it was okay. I didn't mind it, but it didn't blow my socks off, or I didn't think it was anything particularly unique. So I'm hoping this one is a little bit better, and I have more of a feeling that they deserve that honor. So we'll see. But this beer is called Alpha Abstraction. Double IPA, and it says Volume 5, so I'm assuming it's a series of double IPAs with different hops in each one. This one says Alpha Abstraction Volume 5 is a juicy double dry hopped IPA with Nelson Sauvin hops. This is the 5th edition of the series with a varied hop profile in each volume. There you go. And it is 8.0 ABV, so let's crack it open and see what we got. You usually don't see Nelson Sauvin single hop beers only because they're pretty expensive and hard to get. So, see, this pours a darker golden color to almost an orange with a smaller white head. I will admit this does smell very, very nice. It does have a little bit of that white wine character that Nelson Sauvin is known for, but it's a lot more on the just the general like tropical juicy side. I do get a little bit of like mango and passion fruit. There's a little bit of orange in there too. And maybe some peach. I don't know. It smells very, very fruity and juicy, so I'm pretty excited. Wow. That's pretty good. So I will say I don't know how that other can that I got, I think they do date their cans. But it's like a really faint thing. I don't know if you can even see it there. It says 215, but it's like there's another number behind it. So I assume that this was canned on 215. So it's like this is like a month and a half old, which for New England style isn't that old. But the other one I had, I either remembered it not having a date at all, or if it did, it was like smudged. And that's kind of the problem with these ones that when they try to date them on the curved surface, a lot of times they get smudged and stuff. So I appreciate them dating the cans, but if it's smudged and you can't read it, it's useless. So, but that one says 215, which sounds right for this. So it's a little more on the orangey side in the flavor than the aroma. I do pick up some like pineapple juice. There is a little bit like a grapey white wine character. It's actually a little earthy too, which is interesting. I don't generally get that from Nelson Sauvin, but there's a lot of different hop flavors going on in this. It's a little sweet, not to the point where it's cloying and or like caramely, but I wish the sweetness was dialed back a little bit, or I wish there was just like slightly more bittering hop to it, because the bitterness level was very, very low. It's pretty much like straight juice and then a little bit of sweetness. So some people would like that more. I would prefer either a little less sweetness in general or a little bitterness to balance it out. Just so it's perceived as like a little more dry than what it is. But overall, the flavor is very good. I'm even picking up some like melon character the more I drink it, which I generally don't like that. But that's only if that's the predominant flavor that I don't like it. It being in this, and it's just like a little hint on top of all the other hop character, I think it's fine. It just adds to the complexity. So now I don't know what, and I will say too, and it might be because of the sweetness helps a little bit, but this does not taste like it's 8%. For one, the body is not very big, which I think is a good thing for a double IPA. But it also doesn't feel watery either. It's just like not syrupy at all. I'm not tasting booze. And honestly, I'm hardly even feeling the booze in the back of my throat. If you told me that this was 6%, I would probably believe it. I mean, other than like the sweetness is the only thing that makes me think that it's stronger, just because usually double IPAs tend to be sweeter than single IPAs. It's just that they're adding more and more sugar to get the alcohol higher, but a lot of times the ratio doesn't necessarily work out perfectly versus a regular IPA, so the final gravity ends up a little higher, or either that or somehow the perceived sweetness seems sweeter. That's just always, for me, double IPAs always seem sweeter than single IPAs for the most part. But yeah, I didn't pay for this. I got this in a what was it? A Super Bowl block pool win. So I don't know what this cost, but I mean, I will give him like an extra point. Not that I'm giving it point system, but I would give it an extra point that it's in a 12-ounce can. I know it's more economical probably for breweries to do pounders versus 12 ounces, but I would still prefer 12 ounces for everything. You know, it's easier. You're not committed to drinking as much alcohol or whatever when you're opening like a double IPA, or these triple IPAs that are in pounder cans are so big and ridiculous. Excuse me. So even if I was paying slightly more per ounce, I would prefer to have it in 12 versus 16. So I'll give it a little point for that. But on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm gonna say this is a buy. It's a pretty good double IPA. Like I said, I like the fact that it's in a little can. That gives a little bump for me. And I did see that these guys are going to be at the Untapped Beer Festival, which is at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, which I'm going to. So now that I had this, and I like this a little better than the last one I had, I'll definitely check them out. And I'm guessing since they made the top of that list, they probably have a line too, but that's fine. Yeah, I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.